In the words of a broken heart, it's just emotion that's taking me over. Tied up in sorrow, lost in my soul. And if you don't come back, come home to me, darling. You know that there'll be nobody else in this world to hold me tight. Ow. Emotions, emotions. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my beautiful family. I hope that this lighting is better. It doesn't look like it is, but we won't get through it. We're gonna talk about emotions, okay? And you know, because this is interesting. And I don't mean you're wondering if I care about you. Is there some cause that I should doubt you? Ah, oh, I can see, babe. Ah, that you don't know me very well. Hey, shout out to the emotions. But no, that's not who we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about our emotions. Real important, family, our emotions, okay? So don't be afraid of your emotions. This little, um, this little vlog is going to be about how to release our emotions, okay? And so, with that being said, let me first say, don't be afraid of your emotions. Okay, don't fight with them, don't run away from them, don't block them out. You have to welcome them. Okay, be with them regardless of what they are. We were born with all emotions. They are neither good nor bad, they just are. Emotions dissipate. That means get smaller, and slowly they'll disappear if you feel them. Okay, because uh, that was something that I learned to do, and it is so empowering. It's just to sit there in what makes you uncomfortable. Um, give you an example. Um, I used to think about things that made me uncomfortable at some point, whether it was a relationship or things I might have done. And what I would do is when I would feel those uncomfortable feelings about whatever circumstances around that act would be, I just be like, oh, let me forget about it. Oh, and go move on. So what I'm doing is I'm trapping all that anxiety inside of me, right? As opposed to just sitting there in it and let it run its course. In fact, if you're present with them, trust me, they will dissipate. You got to close your eyes and just feel them actually as deeply as you can. Like, ooh, like I did that. Ooh, whatever it is, feel it. Okay. Deciding how to respond to your emotions. Once you have identified a certain emotion, you will at times need to decide how to proceed in dealing with that emotion. There are many options that need to be considered carefully. Certain approaches can have very serious effects. Okay? Effects. So you want to think about that wisely. You could lose your job or you could lose your marriage. It's very important to consider your options carefully before saying and doing something that cannot be taken back. Now, I know in our community, we have a lot of reactionaries. The way we've been taught to do things is to react to them. We don't act, and we don't continuously have an act. We react. And when you're constantly reacting, what are you doing is you're throwing all this cortisol off into your body, which in turn is not healthy. It's going to make you sick. It's going to shorten your lifespan. Okay? Just like dealing with certain things that you cannot change and you cannot fix. It'll shorten your lifespan. They'll get your blood pressure up. They'll get, and so when you go to see your doctor, he'll go, okay, you have to slow down from X, Y, Z, or you have to take your time with this. And only a fool would not heed that, okay? Because um, it's very important that you acknowledge that the life that you have been given is yours to try to preserve, in my opinion. Um, and if you don't feel that your life is worth preserving, well, hell, that's why you got people that just go and take their lives. They don't think about how valuable it is. But you have to understand. You have to begin to control your emotion because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself constantly reacting to things that you shouldn't be reacting to. Now what I'm gonna do. The following things is a few questions that you should ask yourself. Okay, that you know, I guess when deciding what response will suit a particular situation best. Okay, so these are a few questions, a few notes I wrote down for you to ask yourself. Um, because for me, I know that whenever something would be very uncomfortable, say I would think about something crazy I did when I was younger, or maybe somebody oof, maybe even somebody I slept with, or somebody I did something crazy. I don't know, whatever it could be. That's horrible. A lot of times what we would try to do is we try to block the memory and then we go, ugh. I think it's real important again to sit in it. And once I began to do that, once I began to sit in the emotions and what I was feeling, they were very uncomfortable. But I learned something very important in dealing with those um, um with those emotions, sitting with them. I learned something very dynamic and important about myself. Okay, so each situation is different, right? And I'm aware of that, But here's some questions that you should ask yourself. I am reacting to this situation, um, because why? And what, uh, or is this reaction particularly a reaction to a past situation as well? You got to be able to sit back in the moment and ask yourself these questions while you are actually going through this. Am I really just mad at this person, or is this triggering something that so and so did to me? And so now I'm bringing that all off into this situation as well. Um, am I able to discuss the issues with the person without venting anger? Will I be able to talk about how I feel to the person? Okay, see, because you have some people that you can't disagree with them, or the minute they are so narcissistic and disordered that if you disagree with them and you have a difference of opinion, they'll consider that a direct conflict or direct um, confrontation attack on them. And it could be a very harmless, very simple. You might have a disagreement. You just may not, you have a difference of opinion. And when you're dealing with a high conflict individual, they won't allow you to have a difference of opinion at all. Um, so that's important that we have to understand. We have to understand that. And we have so many mentally ill people running around in the black community. You got to understand that I think it's really important that we start with knowing that we've been trained. We've been trained to hate each other. We've been trained to be mentally ill. We've been beat. We've been abused. And there has never been any psychological uh, refuge for us. Forget about the physical dynamic of slavery. The mental brutality and all that stuff that happened right here. And of course, slaves have been slaves, has been all through mankind. But chattel slavery and what we had to witness is something that is in our cellular memory and it was never addressed. So there's a lot of emotions going around in our DNA that has black people, we really have to take a deep breath before we react, because that's why we can react so silly to somebody stepping on our shoes. And then when you add drugs and alcohol to the mix, now you have a concoction or a cocktail made in hell, just ready to explode. Okay, what do I expect from this discussion? What are my expectations? Are they realistic? Should I discuss this with somebody before doing anything? These are some of the things you should say when you're angry with a person or you feel an emotion. All these things have to go, it's a process. Usually when you react immediately, and there's only a few situations that I think that at reacting immediately is necessary. Like if you walk in the house and you see somebody raping your child. I mean, of course, you're not going to sit there and, have all this thought process. I know I'm not. I'm just human. I'm just going to try to do whatever I can to stop that act, right? If I got a hatchet, a gun, it doesn't matter. So we're not going to, we're talking about on realistic situations and circumstances. Okay. Asking yourself questions, you will be deciding whether a direct approach is the best approach. And if so, you are ready to do this at if you are ready to do this at the present time. If your anger is at a rage stage, then you need to release your anger before proceeding to discuss the situation with anybody, especially the person that's the butt of your anger, because it's not going to do anything to you. You can't discuss nobody with somebody and you're angry, because nobody's going to sit there and listen to you berate them or be angry and bring all of that to them without bringing it back. So that would be a problem. Now, the physical part of releasing your emotions, okay? There are a number of ways you can begin to release your emotions, especially those relating to anger and hurt. Go into an empty room or go for drives alone and scream, scream, scream as loudly as you can. Scream out the hurt. Scream words. I hate so. I hate. So many people have never screamed out their hurt, their rage. Continue to do it as long as it feels right inside. Cry. Allow yourself the feelings the self to cry. And I know for a lot of y'all guys, I know this is very difficult for you to do. Look, get in your car, go somewhere, scream, I hate that bitch. Whatever it is. But you're okay. It's okay to feel that. See, and it's very important that you feel that. It's part of your mental healing. If you don't feel that, if you suppress that, if you do that, you're gonna implode and then you're gonna explode. That's what's gonna happen. Um, so um, if you cannot scream aloud, imagine that you are screaming your rage, hurt, and pain. Imagine it and imagine it, see it, hear it, feel it, especially. Feel it as deeply as you can. If you are a physical person, take a pillow and keep hitting the chair, your bed. Feel something. Go work out. Feeling your hurt every time you hit the object with the pillow. Every time you hit that pillow, say the words, I hate them. I hate them. You got to get that shit out. I hate, you know. Now, write about your hate. Write about how hurt you are. Write about how afraid you really are. Journal about what happened and how it's affecting you today. Write about what you have lost or what you have never had. And write about what has hurt you so deeply. You deserve that. That's how you're going to remove the fear, the obligation, and the guilt, the fall. That's the only way you're going to remove that shit. Okay? All right. I just want you to feel the feeling. Don't be afraid of it. Under all the anger, rage, hate, and hurt is one emotion, and that's fear. And really, when you break it all down, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but you can only operate off two principles: either love or fear. And when you encounter somebody, you can tell what they operate on. You know? All right, I'll be back. Part two of this. Emotion.